As you guys know, in the last analysis I made about Kenny Payne, I discussed how part 1 did him dirty, literally. And he ended up not entering the tournament because he pooped his pants. Although part 1 was a little disappointing, part 2 has redeemed my king and gave him probably some of the best moments in the entire tournament. Part 2 is very short and doesn't have very much to offer, especially with Kenny, who has like 2-3 episodes. So I'll give a brief recap of what happened in part 1. We see Kenny initially being lost due to Silver's defeat, and this would lead into Robby trying to get him to join Miyagi Do as he earned a spot in the sekai taikai. He doesn't join and instead holds out on this anger, which we then see his brother eventually calling him out on, which Kenny would then break down in response. Ever since Kenny became the new kid, he was trying to always follow someone. First it was Robby, then Kyler, and then Silver, and then he tried going back to Shawn. He was taught to defend himself, but he ended up becoming a bully instead, and now he doesn't even know what to do with himself. And so, in order to start from square one, he joins Miyagi Do in hopes of competing for the tournament. The setup here is really nice, and honestly, I can't wait to see how he joins. Devon would end up putting laxatives in his drink because she knew she couldn't beat him, which would lead into Kenny then.
Somebody just got their brown belt.
This pissed me along with everyone off who watched the show because Kenny is probably the best new addition we've had to the cast. So to see him get shafted over someone like Devon and even Demetri, who in this season is... But luckily in part 2, we not only get closure with Kenny's 2 biggest conflicts, but we even see him pop off in the tournament. Now, for those who may be confused about his 2 biggest conflicts, I'm referring to his conflicts with Anthony Larusso and Terry Silver. Firstly, we'll start with Anthony and Kenny's since that gets dealt with first. Anthony and Kenny since season 4 have been at each other's throats, from Anthony publicly humiliating him, pouring milk in his locker, all of his Disney Channel bullshit. He's pretty much done it all. And as we know, this leads into Kenny bullying Anthony after he learned some karate, and even after he tried apologizing, he'd just be the bully throughout all of season 5. He would kick him into the pool, shoving his mouth into diarrhea. Yeah, bro. At this point, if I was Anthony, I would have looked for a way to revive Miyagi himself to try and get my get back because, yeah, man, this is just horrible. But after both of them would join Miyagi Do, Kenny and him were getting along pretty decently until the laxative incident. And Anthony would be forced to apologize so that Kenny could come to the tournament as he thinks Anthony was the one who did this to him. They would end up fighting with Amanda parenting up and telling Kenny and Anthony to lock in as the only reason a spot has opened up was because Miguel's mom was in the hospital. So instead of continuing this constant bickering, someone has to end it, and this leads into Anthony being the bigger man and actually squashing the beef with Kenny. He decides to take a laxative himself, but Kenny already got the call from Devon that pretty much she was the one who did it. So Kenny gives him the head start and tells Anthony that they are cool, squashing their beef. And now Kenny can enter the tournament with a clear mind and a clear objective to prove his worth to the team. When he enters the tournament, it'd be revealed that not only Silver is back, but he's pretty much running the Iron Dragons, which was the top 1 dojo in the entire tournament. Demetri and Hawk would initially not trust Kenny at all due to the fact that Silver pops up at the same time as Kenny, which would cause the team to have some internal conflict. Kenny after this would be approached by Silver with him offering Kenny to join. Kenny after this would be approached by Silver with him offering to Kenny to join the Iron Dragons, but Kenny, similar to Robby, would see through his facade, and even Johnny would back him up by saying that they've all been on different sides before, but what matters is where they're at now. And so this leads into Robby, the one who got Kenny into karate and honestly has been struggling throughout the entire tournament, decides to take initiation as a leader and give Kenny the chance to prove his worth. And Kenny does not disappoint us. Not only would Kenny just completely embarrass this captain, but even hit him with a mean-ass uppercut. Demetri and Hawk as well dismissed their suspicions, with the group then picking Kenny up to celebrate as he would then throw an emote on Terry Silver. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Kenny. He's finally showing that he's found a path for himself that he believes in, and he showed to everyone that he's finally found his way and he's nothing more than a contribution to the team. But in my opinion, the biggest highlight for Kenny in this entire tournament has to be Hawk, Demetri, and Kenny performing the ultimate tag team combo on Yoon. Like, we see Hawk, Demetri, and Kenny all throwing in their initial scraps and then tagging each other in so that they can wear Yoon down because he was obviously a better fighter. And after Yoon would slow down, we'd see Demetri and Hawk putting their trust into Kenny, where he would literally hit bro with the Markiplier punch in 2.5 times speed, which would give Hawk the perfect setup to then get the point. This is what we like to see. God, this is what I wanted, man. No more in-between drama, no more Silver mind games. Kenny is locked in. We'd see him and Devon even performing very well as a team, and I'd love to see more scenes with these two. I just love their energy. Now, after this, there's really not much Kenny does, and I doubt he really will have all that much to do in the next part. His biggest conflicts have not only been concluded, but he's also proved his worth to the team. We wanted Kenny to deliver, and he definitely did. Cobra Kai, I was not familiar with your game, and I take back what I said.